Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle something that trips up a ton of teams, the 5 essential events that make up the backbone of Scrum.
Does this feel familiar? Back-to-back meetings, everyone feels busy, but nothing really seems to move forward. Well, you're not alone. So many teams get stuck here. But here's the thing. Real Scrum isn't about more meetings. It's about creating a powerful, predictable rhythm that actually gets stuff done. Okay, let's dive in.
I really want this idea to stick with you. Think of these events less as meetings and more as the actual heartbeat of your team. Each one is a specific, formal chance to look at what you're doing and adjust your course. You know, that's the whole point of being agile, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk through an entire sprint, event by event. We'll cover why each one exists, who absolutely needs to be there, what you get out of it, and, most importantly, some tips to make them actually work. Okay, before we jump into the nitty-gritty, let's just set the foundation. These 5 events are there for a reason, to create a regular pulse for the team. They make transparency, inspection, and adaptation possible. Without them, you're pretty much just flying blind. And the sprint itself? Well, that's the container that holds everything we're about to talk about. It's a fixed amount of time, usually a week, maybe up to 4, that gives the team focus. As soon as one sprint ends, the next one kicks off immediately. So let's open up this container and look at the very first event. Every single sprint starts right here with sprint planning. Now, this isn't just about grabbing a bunch of tasks off a list. It's about the entire team getting on the same page about what they're going to build, and even more importantly, why it matters to the business and the users.
So let's break this down. The Scrum Master keeps things on track. The whole team, and I mean everyone, has to be there. And it's time-boxed to keep it from dragging on forever. What you walk out with is the key, a sprint backlog. That's your plan for the upcoming sprint.
A really great sprint planning session answers 3 big questions. It starts with the why, crafting a clear goal for the sprint. Then you figure out the what, which is where the developers pull in the work they believe they can complete. And finally, the how, which is their plan for getting that work done. You know, this is where a good Scrum Master really shines. They can use a simple technique like silent brainstorming so everyone gets a chance to contribute, not just the loudest person in the room. And they help the team steer clear of that classic mistake, biting off more than they can chew. That's a recipe for burnout.
All right, the plan is set and the sprint is officially a go. So how does the team stay in sync and make sure they're on track to hit that sprint goal? Well, that's exactly what the daily Scrum is for.
Now pay close attention here. This is a 15-minute event, and it is for the developers. It's their meeting to make a plan for the next 24 hours. The Scrum Master just makes sure it happens. The magic is in the consistency. Same time, same place, every single day. It just removes a ton of complexity. A good daily Scrum feels like a high-energy huddle. It's not a status report. It's a dynamic, quick planning meeting where developers talk to each other to figure out how to best work together and call out anything that's getting in their way. But this is where it so often goes wrong, right? It turns into a boring status meeting where everyone just reports up to the Scrum Master. That is a total waste of time, and it completely misses the point. The key is to keep it a peer-to-peer chat about how to win the day.
So we've reached the end of the sprint. Now it's time to close that all-important feedback loop. The sprint review is where the team shows off what they actually finished and works with stakeholders to decide what to do next.
If there's one thing to remember about the sprint review, it's this. It is a working session, not a demo. It's a chance for the team to show the actual done work and get real-time feedback from stakeholders to help shape the future of the product.
You know, the success of this event isn't measured by how much applause you get. It's measured by the quality of the feedback and the conversations you have. Because if you don't have the right people in the room, the ones who actually care about the product, the whole thing is just for show. It's a huge missed opportunity. Okay, that brings us to the final event in the sprint retrospective. We've just inspected the product in the review, and now it's time for the team to inspect itself, how they work together, their processes, everything. This is such a critical moment for the team to just pause and reflect. The Scrum Master's job here is to be a neutral guide, creating a safe space where everyone can be honest about what's working, what isn't, and how they can get better. A big pitfall here is something called retrospective fatigue, where it just becomes a complaint session that goes nowhere. A great retro doesn't just talk about problems, it results in at least one concrete, actionable thing the team will try to improve in the very next sprint. Okay, so we've looked at all the individual pieces of the puzzle. Now let's zoom out and put it all together. Let's see what the full rhythm of a standard 2-week sprint actually looks like. And looking at it laid out like this, you can really feel that cadence, can't you? It's got a clear pattern, a strong start with planning, that daily pulse of the daily scrum, and then a really powerful closing sequence on the last day with the review and the retro. And then boom, the cycle starts right over again the next day. No downtime. So look, if you take just one thing away today, please let it be this. Scrum events are not meetings. They are specific, time-boxed opportunities to inspect and adapt. This whole structure, this whole rhythm, is designed to kill wasted effort and maximize how quickly your team can learn and respond to change. So think about your own team's rhythm. Are you planning with a real goal in mind, or just filling up a list? Is your review a real working session or just a demo? By focusing on the true purpose behind each of these 5 events, you can transform your team's process from just a series of meetings into a powerful heartbeat that delivers amazing value.